Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, class. Today we'll be learning computer repair and maintenance. And my name is Madam Musau Gloria Mumbo. So the lesson objectives for today, by the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to identify computer parts as per the manufacturer's manual, and we will define what electrical safety is. So the first thing, identification of computer parts is according to the manufacturer's manual is crucial for proper maintenance, upgrades, and troubleshooting. So the manual provides detailed information about the specific components, their location, and their functions. So here is a guide on how to identify computer parts using the manufacturer's manual. So the first thing, you need to gather the necessary resources. So before starting, you need to gather the computer's manufacturer's manual. You need to have a flashlight and any necessary tool for opening the computer case. After gathering the necessary resources, the next thing you need to locate the manual. So the manufacturer's manual. Kindly mute, Isabella. Thank you. So the manufacturer's manual can usually be found online by searching for the computer's model number. So if you have a physical copy, ensure it corresponds to the exact model you are working on. And the next thing, you identify the computer type. So identification of the computer type. So you determine whether you are dealing with determine whether you are dealing with a desktop or a laptop computer. So as the internal layouts differ significantly. So before performing any troubleshooting, you need to know which type of computer you're dealing with. So like if either it is a desktop computer, if it is a laptop, if it is a smartphone, if it is a tablet. So you identify the type of computer you're dealing with so that you can be able to know which components you will need for the troubleshooting process. Then after that, you need to open the computer case. For instance, if you're using a desktop, so you carefully remove the side panel, to access the internal components. So this is like when you want to open a CPU, you want to identify the parts of the CPU. So you open the side panel carefully. So the manual has illustrations on what you're supposed to follow, the step-by-step procedure on how you're supposed to do it so that you don't damage the sensitive components. Like say the CPU, we have the hard disk, which stores important information. You have the motherboard. So you should always refer to the manual illustration so that you do the right thing. Next, you match components to descriptions. So the manual will also provide descriptions of components, including its functions, appearance, and location. After that, you pay attention to labels and markings. So in the instruction manual that will have either the hard copy or the online the online manual that you will have downloaded from the internet, the manuals always has markings and labels that will help you easily cross-reference the markings with the information from the manual. After that, the next thing we need to do is you use the online resources. So for instance, if you encounter anything that you're not familiar with, you can always search for information online. You can always search for information on YouTube so that you can gather the necessary information you need. Then after that, you can seek professional assistance. So if you are unsure about identifying a specific component or opening the computer case, so you can always seek help from a qualified computer technician. So those are the step-by-step procedure on how we can do to identify computer parts as per the manufacturer's manual. Then to our second objective, we have electrical safety. So electrical devices have certain power requirements. AC adapters are manufactured from specific laptops. So let me pose this question to the class. Can anyone tell me the meaning of AC in full? If you are aware, you can unmute and tell us, what do you mean by AC? What does AC in full mean? Anyone from the class? I see Faith, I see Victor, I see Geoffrey, I see Edith Ambetsa. Anyone? I'm sure we have encountered this term somewhere. So AC inamaanisha nini? Ambetsa? Anyone? Geoffrey? Okay, it seems that none of you knows what AC means. So you will have that as your assignment. So in my next class, the first thing you need to tell me is the full meaning of AC. So AC adapters are manufactured for specific laptops. So exchanging AC adapters with a different type of laptop or device may cause damage to both the AC adapter and the laptop. So you need to make sure that the AC adapter you're using is the correct one for the laptop that you are using, or the desktop, depending on the device you're using. You need to use the correct AC. Then some printer parts such as power supplies contain high voltage. So you should always check the printer manual for the location of high voltage components. Then NB, we should always follow electrical safety guidelines to prevent electrical fires, injuries, and fatalities. So that was about electrical safety. Then you have something called ESD, which means electrostatic discharge. So ESD can occur when there's a buildup of an electric charge that exists on a surface which comes into contact with another differently charged surface. So electrostatic discharge can cause damage to computer equipment if not discharged properly. So if electrostatic discharge is not discharged properly, it can affect the components, the internal components of your CPU or your desktop or whatever device that you have opened. So to prevent electrostatic damage, we have a few requirements, a few guidelines on what you're supposed to do. So the first thing, you need to keep all the components in an anti-static bag until you're ready to install them. So the anti-static bag will prevent the damage of ESD. The second thing, you can use grounded mats on workbenches. So if you're, for instance, you are in a computer lab and you are opening a CPU. So the place that you are standing, you can place a mat that is grounded so that it prevents electrostatic discharge to damage the computer components. The next thing, you can use grounded floor mats in work areas. So you can also use grounded floor mats in the work areas so that the ESD cannot damage your components. And then lastly, you can use anti-static wrist straps when working inside computers. So remember, you need to have like screwdrivers to open inside the CPU. So you can wear a wrist strap that will prevent the damage of electrostatic discharge. So that marks the end of our class. In summary, we have learned how to identify computer parts as per the manufacturer's manual, and we have also defined what is electrical safety. So for your assignment, you will state the step-by-step procedure on how to disassemble CPU parts. So I'll expect to collect this assignment before the next class. So at this point, we have come to the end of the lesson. If there's anyone with a question, feel free to raise your hand, feel free to unmute and ask. Anywhere you need clarification? Okay, so if there's no question, we can meet on the next class. Have a lovely day.